G'day guys, ZiggyD here and welcome back for a Conan Exiles guide. In this video I want to show you guys how to make a 100% raid-proof base. I know, it can't be done, but with the game's mechanics as they are right now, it is possible to make a raid-proof base that is safe from attack while you are offline and sleeping. Because, let's face it, it sucks a bit when you wake up in the morning and your entire base is destroyed. Well, currently there are ways to avoid that. So, up there is our wonderful base that's got thousands of steel in it and like 5 forges pumping out stuff. You can totally believe me, that's completely honest. What you need to do first is locate a mesa. So we're looking for a large section of stone or a large raised section that is separate from any other landmass. So if we go all the way around here, this mesa is completely independent. So like a large tabletop section of stone here, for example. There's tons of these littered around the maps and lots of larger open sections that are raised up and basically impossible to walk to or jump to or climb to. So the mechanics we're going to be taking advantage of here is the no build permission zone, or the land ownership mechanics. So essentially once you build a base, an area around it is unbuildable for enemy players, other people who aren't in your clan, or who aren't you essentially if you're by yourself. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and leave our clan and become an enemy marauder. Someone who wants to get up into that base and take my lovely assistant Amy's stuff. All she needs to do to be able to defend her base is simply remove one staircase. Okay, so she's removed the staircase. She's seen me coming, or she's logging offline for the night and, you know, people are trying to get into the base. It is now impossible for anyone else to actually be able to jump up here. It's not going to be possible. There's no jumping that can be done in order to do this. And if you're a bit paranoid, you can even remove a second staircase if you want to. But it's not possible to jump up there now, and there's no other way up to the base. Second staircase removed, definitely not possible to get up there. Now the worst thing that I could do is, in my salty rage, destroy like these bottom staircases, you know, with explosives or by attacking or something like that. But that's not going to get me anything. That's not going to get me up to the base, and it's not going to be able to get me to steal any resources or anything like that. You know, the worst thing I could do is destroy some of these foundations or something maybe. But that's not really going to do much. It's not going to take too much to rebuild when you come back online. Now here's the kicker. The way the land ownership system works, it's not possible for me to build staircases here in order to build back up. I can't even build foundations to start building my own staircase. And this land ownership radius, by default, is quite large. So I can't even build anything quite far out in order to be able to build a staircase up and to try and jump down into the base. It's simply not possible. We've done a ton of testing to make sure that this works, and it is not possible to build any sort of like staircase or overhang or anything like that within a reasonable distance that'll allow you to jump onto the base. All you need to do is make sure that your mesa is not close enough to a landmass that people can get to that they'll be able to make the jump across. So if, for example, there was like a large landmass like that one over there, close enough so that they could do a running jump and jump over to your base, then it's not a good location. But if you select a good location that people can't actually jump across, there's no way to jump across there or there, the gaps are too large, then you are completely safe. Now, eventually they're probably going to have to do something about this, because otherwise the meta is going to be just everyone building mesa bases like this that they can't get to. And it's they're gonna have to do something like make siege ladders or something like that you can place. And when that happens, there's gonna be ways around that. I think there's gonna be ways to counteract that, like, you know, making a larger gap between where people will have to build it to, so they'll have to invest more resources in getting to your base, and then you can make an actual secure base on top of the mesa as well. But at the moment, the core element is this idea of just building up so that people can't jump up to it, and then removing some staircases when you're offline or when you're out scavenging so people can't sneak up into your base. Now let's say that you accidentally forget to remove your staircase or something like that, and you're being chased back to your base, or you see enemies approaching and coming up your staircase, then it's a good idea to have a few fallback sections that you can remove. So I'll start chasing Amy now, and she'll be able to remove a staircase. Even if she falls and I'm able to kill her, at worst she loses the gear she has and everything in the base is still secure. So as like a last ditch resort, you can just simply remove a staircase. So I'm chasing Amy up here trying to get to her, and she should be able to dismantle something before I can actually get up. Now she's down here and I can kill her, but I can't get to her base. Same deal, I can't jump across that gap now, and she's been able to secure the base. So here's how you're going to be able to build these staircases that you can raid-proof your base with. Find a nice sheer rock face, something that doesn't have any jumping points on it, on your mesa. Place a sandstone foundation. Don't be tempted to use anything higher than sandstone because these are going to be reachable by opponents who want to destroy them to troll you, and you'll also be dismantling and replacing these. So just sandstone is fine. We're going to build it a little bit off the ground there, and then we're going to take some staircases and build them down to the ground. In this case, I've made it a little bit close on the wall, but it's not a big issue. Then what we can do is use a triangle to change the angle of the staircase if we need to. So in this case, I'll use 2 here, and I'll build a... If you use 2 off of the foundation, you want to just do a single staircase. Ideally, you'll want to try and position it so you can just use 1 triangle and then change the angle. Reason being is that you won't be able to build quite enough so that you can build a triangle off the second staircase. But in this case, we can just do this, and then we can place it like that. As long as the next foundation is touching the wall, this part is now secured and anchored down so we can continue building. So in this case, we might just build another 2 staircases directly off of this, straight up. And then what we can do is place another triangle to change the angle once again, build a foundation just there, and we can place some extra staircases, in this case just off of this triangle, and keep building up like that. Try and do double staircases where you can, make sure that there's no jumping points in case you need to run up like we demonstrated, and remove an extra set of staircases. So in this case we can remove this one, that creates a jumping point, we can remove this one, that creates a jumping point, we can remove this one. This one might not be so secure, but we've got plenty of options that we can remove if people are chasing us up and we need to remove something in a bit of a panic situation. Okay, so now I want to give you guys some other tips for making sure that your base is raid secure. Now, explosives are going to be one of the main ways of raiding now that they have changed the balance in how weapons affect buildings. So now, steel weapons can't even destroy tier 2 walls, and certainly not tier 3 walls. So that being the case, explosives is going to be the main way that people will try and get through your walls. Now, I've done some testing here if you want to see the explosive jars. An explosive jar will not reach a second wall like this. So if you have a gap between these 2 walls, so if you build an outer perimeter wall and then an inner wall, then it's going to take people twice as much explosives in order to get through. And the investment to make explosives is higher than it's going to be for you guys to make some tier 2 walls as an outer wall perimeter to make the cost of raiding your base higher, essentially. So just as an example here, I'll explode this jar. And you'll see that this first wall doesn't even come down. It takes some damage, certainly, so it's going to take a few explosives to get through that. And then once they've done that, they still have to get through this second wall, which has only taken 10 damage here. It's taken almost no damage. Now, there's some other creative things you can do, some other creative solutions. In order for people to actually place explosives, they need a flat surface to place it on. So if you build a raised building, like what we were talking about building up on mesas, then what you can do is create a bridge to your base and have like a jumping point that you have to make. So what happens here is with nothing for them to actually place the explosives on, pretend this is raised up more in the air, there's going to be nothing for them to actually reach up and put the explosives on. You just make the wall high enough and wide enough, and just a sheer face like this with the door just on the outside, they actually can't put any explosives anywhere to be able to do any damage to your base. And this will make your base essentially explosive proof if they can't actually put any explosives near your base. And all you need to do as a player is carry around a single triangle piece that you can place, and then you can jump over and open your door and access your base, and then you can remove the triangle piece once again. So same idea as removing the stairs, in this case removing a triangle piece, just so that you can get in and out of your base, and while you're not there or while you're offline, people can't actually place any explosives to destroy your walls. So even if they make some like raiding ladder style situations, you can still make it very difficult for enemies to be able to even get through your walls because they simply can't get to them. Okay, so I've got one last sneaky tip for you guys in helping defend against raids in this game. Making false walls in order to hide important things such as your actual bed that you've used and stashes of high-end resources or equipment is going to be a great way to secure things. Now that I'm in here, I'm a raider, I've made it through your base, I've somehow found a way in, I've destroyed my way in. It takes a lot to destroy walls, and we're not going to be putting explosives just to try and level the base. Maybe some people will if you've created a real strong enemy that just wants to troll you, but for people that are actually just trying to get resources, what they're going to do is they're going to destroy your benches, they're going to destroy any storage chests they find. So scatter a few of those around your base, you know, have your workbenches around and have your storage chests around and have some beds around on the base. Like for example, we have some beds up the top here. Now what you can do though is actually have your crucial things hidden away, and this is a classic tactic that was used in history all the time. You know, having a false vault that people break into and think that they've got all that you have, but you actually have a more secured vault elsewhere. So from the outside and from the inside, you can't really tell that there's a false wall in this base. If I head outside here, the base looks okay, yeah, alright. So we head inside. Okay, looks all good. Feels like we've found everything. Head upstairs. Yeah, looks good. Looks like we've found everything. However, you'd have to have a very close eye for detail in order to notice that there is actually a hidden section to this base. And what you can simply do is create a sneaky door somewhere. You can even just have it completely walled in. You don't even need a door, because you can just dismantle your walls and rebuild them if you need access. But if you'll notice, if we just drop down here on the outside of the base, and this is facing out into the distance that, you know, is going to be pretty difficult for people to notice and see, we actually have some sneaky hidden doors in here that lead to my true beds and all of our chests. So as you can tell, it's very difficult to see from the outside that there's actually a false wall there. And once you get inside, you feel like you've found everything. So Raiders going to take what they can see, and then they're going to leave. That means that even if people are somehow able to make it into your base, they're quite likely to miss all of your stuff, and you're going to have some fallback resources to rebuild from. Anyway guys, I hope you found this helpful. If you have any other tips to share for raid-proofing your bases, or maybe some flaws you can see in ways people can get around these defenses, let us know in the comments below. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching. So, all that Amy needs to do in order to defend her base is to simply remove a staircase. Take two. Take two. Do you have a staircase you can build there?
I can get one though. Sorry.
Take two.